All right, I think we are live. Welcome everybody to episode 11. Sounds crazy. Episode 11. We haven't missed a week yet, so that's good. And today we have Millennial Money Mom, who has been in our streams a lot. She's a faithful for sure. So we figured we'd bring her on and ask her to hang out with us.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. I'm definitely a regular.
Yeah, I think between you, Paulo, and Misha, maybe I think are like the three sort of that pop in right when it starts. But thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. That makes me so happy. Usually when I'm watching this stream, I'm either cooking dinner, eating dinner with my family, or cleaning up the dishes.
Nice. All right, cool. So let's jump in. If you don't mind telling us about yourself, anything that's relevant to sort of Amazon, how you got started, kind of where you are now, where you've been. Tell us it.
Absolutely. It's really funny. I have a background in shipping and logistics, and that's how I met my husband. And I was on TikTok one day and I saw this guy talking about selling books on Amazon, but I'm not a book person and I was never into thrifting. So I never thought about it again. And then I met a friend who told me that they do Amazon private label. And I said, oh, yeah, I saw this guy on TikTok talk about Amazon. And I started an account after I heard him talk about it. But what happened was I kept trying to ungate from my phone and scan things on the seller app from my phone, and I couldn't figure out how it worked. So I just gave up on it.
Oh.
And I didn't realize that, I need to actually go to the computer, and there's a sell.amazon.com exists.
What year was this? Just so we can get a time reference.
This was maybe 2021 when I made the account, but then I was like, just forget about this because I can't figure it out.
Oh, no.
And then about a year ago, I met my friend who told me that they do private label. And so that was the first person that I met in person that had done Amazon. So that really ignited me to figure this out because I already have the account set up. Now I just have to figure out how to list something and get ungated.
Nice. Okay. So that was a year ago. You've been selling, I guess, for real, right? You always had the account. Where did you start? What types of stuff did you start selling? What type of business model?
I started with RA and I started in my grocery store because I was always there shopping for my family. So I would notice certain things that maybe my grocery store would carry that wasn't sold at places like Walmart or Target. And I checked it on Amazon and saw that it was selling for a good amount. So that's where I started.
Okay. Are you a big couponer?
I am.
Man, I always think to myself, if someone could be a really good couponer, they could make so much money because I don't know, in the South, at least Southeast, there's a grocery store it's called Publix, and they have tons and tons of deals weekly. It changes, where they're BOGO type of deals, buy one get one. I'm sure other grocery stores do too, but I know of people who literally go there. And the grocery store has to pay them money because of all of the discounts and coupons that this person used. I used to work in a big corporate office, and there was this lady who had a closet full of bath soaps and body washes and just all this makeup and all this stuff. And I used to think to myself, if someone could do this, at a large scale, it's super hard. Obviously, that's what takes the time. They could make some serious money. So that's why I asked about the couponing thing, because that's a good way to kind of get into it.
So that's me. And That's what I started with. I started selling all the items that I had from my coupon stockpile, items
Wow.
that I got for free or items that I've been paid to take out of the store.
That's amazing.
So it was like no risk up front because sometimes that could be a challenge starting a new business and you have to invest a lot of money in supplies and then inventory. And so I figured instead of buying inventory, which I was unsure if it was going to sell, I was just going to sell all of my coupon items.
That's so smart. That's so smart.
That's how
Yeah,
you kind of got the proof of concept with the items you
exactly.
already had.
Yes.
Nice.
That's crazy. Yo, Kevin, there's like a little buzz on your mic.
Let
I
me
don't
try to
know.
fix it.
All right, cool. All right. So you start RA. What are you doing now? Sort of a mix. What's the
I do
mix?
a mix. I still do a little bit of RA, but after several months of doing that, I realized that I wanted to be home with my family a little bit more and not be running around like a crazy person. So I started to do more OA, but it definitely took me months to build up the skill set needed to find the good OA deals.
Hmm. Do you do any wholesale?
I do. I do a little bit of wholesale. I started with a local distributor, and that really gave me the confidence to work with other distributors. And I do want to grow that side of the business, especially because I have a shipping and logistics experience. That is a huge help for me. And I
Oh yeah.
do want to do some more wholesale.
Nice. Um, okay, wholesale. Um, you do this out of your house, right?
I do.
And you live in somewhere on the West Coast. I forget where.
Yes. I live in the desert Southwest.
Okay. And then for anybody watching, you can go to her profile, I believe, on Instagram. Kevin sent me this like a week or two ago. I'm not sure, but I've never seen this. Someone have a forklift at their house. You know how much money I and pain I would save myself if I had a forklift. So tell us a little bit about that. Like that, obviously, that's not the norm of someone doing this out of their home.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I really don't know a lot of people that have a forklift at their house. That's funny. However, my husband noticed that they were really cheap during the pandemic, and he is really into tools and equipment. As you can see, I got some tools and equipment behind me, and I wouldn't let him buy one during the
No,
pandemic.
why not?
I was like, no, absolutely not. What do we need a forklift for? We already have so much stuff. And luckily, the way that my home is set up, we live in an older home on an older property, and we just have a lot of room and a detached garage where we're able to store some stuff and store some equipment. We already have some other equipment in there. So we would have had more equipment if I had said yes, that he could buy more items, but I said no. And now I regret it because now the prices of equipment are astronomical.
Mm, yeah, it's crazy.
So I bet that makes things a little bit easier, right?
It does. So I am able to do LTL from my home. And maybe one day I could do truckloads. We'll see.
Oh,
I think that would be a first if you did truckload from your house.
That would be wild.
I'm trying to think about what that would look like at my house, and I don't think I have enough room to even do that.
how
I
much
could
is a truckload? Like 18 pallets or more?
20 something, I think.
Maybe 22 pallets. It depends on how they're placed in the truck.
Okay.
Aren't they referred to as skids in like the logistics world?
Yep, a skid.
So I
So
don't know why, but all like on my TikTok for you page is this like transportation and logistics guy. He's calling like to set up loads, and he always says skids, for less than truckload or whatever. So, all right, well, cool. If anybody has any questions in the chat, please feel free.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kevin. Want to say something?
Oh no, I was saying ask some questions. Also, Millennial Money Mom, what is your name if you don't mind me asking?
Melissa.
Okay, Melissa. You mentioned that you started. You got introduced to Amazon off of TikTok, right?
Yes.
You said it was a bookseller that you saw. Who was that bookseller? Do you remember? Is it like a random person or just like?
His name is Brian.
Right. Oh, no idea. What's his username?
Oh, I can't remember off the top of my head, but he started doing like just random books, and then he did bulk books, and
Okay.
then I think he does OA and wholesale now. But it's
Cool.
funny because he showed a lot of going to Goodwill, and I've never been into that. Only now recently I saw somebody's Mercari page, and they were selling like some really high-end luxury antiques and clothing. Now I see the value in those kind of finds because you can pay $1 for something and sell it for $600.
Yeah.
That's wild.
But I've never been into that until recently. And so it was funny because when I first started selling on Amazon, I told one of my friends, and they said, "Oh yeah, I need to clean out my garage and sell all of my old stuff." Did my screen just freeze?
Yeah, you're frozen right now.
You look very concerned.
Still. Oh.
Oh, that's hysterical.
That's so funny.
Dude,
Okay.
and then she puts it back, and then it's the same picture.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
That's hilarious.
This is hysterical. Okay.
Let me try this. Hold on. All right, try it again. It went on for a second, and then it went off.
What the heck is happening, dude?
Sheesh.
Maybe try going off and then coming back.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see.
Yeah. Try that.
So funny.
Sorry, guys.
You're good.
This was the face right here.
Yeah.
That's so funny. So funny.
Sheesh, imagine a truckload at somebody's house, bro. I swear I've seen like Misha with I don't know how many pallets at his house that look like a truckload. I could be mistaken though. It could be up to 30 pallets a truck, some guy said. Holy.
Yeah, that's wild. That is really wild.
That's a big flex though. You gotta ask about that forklift. Because she said she didn't let him buy it, right?
Yeah.
And then what happened? How do they have a forklift?
Right. It just appeared. Yeah, we gotta ask about that. It's so funny.
A dad has a question in the chat here.
Who? Let's see. What are transparency codes? Huh. Okay. I can tell you what transparency codes are. Transparency labels are a program that brands can sign up for. Essentially, what it does is there's a seller who has sort of secured a brand direct and exclusivity contract, I guess you could say. And so what they do is to get everybody off the listing, they enroll in transparency program. Amazon issues labels, transparency codes, and you think about it like a serial number, and that code sticker is put on the actual units. In order for you to send inventory for that specific SKU, it has to have a code, and it has to be verified by Amazon that they issued the code. So ideally, if you have a brand direct exclusive deal, the brand will ask for the codes from Amazon, and they'll provide you the codes. And that's how it kind of matches up. So yeah, that's transparency codes. I'm sure you've seen a listing where it's asking you for that. What it means is that somebody has sort of exclusive rights to that.
So you can't sell anything with a transparency code on it. At least I've never tried. It always like it shows up as gated,
Yeah,
and then
it shows up as gated because it's asking you for the codes, which is like a serial number,
okay.
which Amazon has provided to the person who's authorized.
Yeah, but what
So-
if the product has a transparency code and you have that code? Because they say don't they tell you to scan it or something?
Yeah. You type in that serial number, and it matches Amazon's database as that code was issued for that
Okay.
product.
Gotcha.
Yeah, is there a way of preventing buying products and being stuck? So the way that you would know that is, one, if you look at Keepa and you look at the amount of offers.
Kind of looks like an IP complaint.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, looks like an IP complaint almost. And or you make it a habit to add that product to your inventory
Yeah, list it.
every single time.
That's a hassle, honestly. So
It
I
is,
don't know
but
about
if
that.
you bought a bunch of inventory,
Hey, if it's a wholesale order, of course. But let's say if it's just like a random OA order, which usually isn't the case. Like a lot of OA items don't have transparency codes.
right?
I wouldn't do it. Heck no.
All right, she's
Who's
back.
Let's go.
Hi.
We don't have the worried look anymore.
That was distressful.
All right, cool. So we're someone was asking about transparency codes and what they mean and how to prevent buying listings that require transparency codes. Do you have any experience with transparency codes? We sort of answered it, but if you have any insight, that would be helpful.
I do. I have dealt with that selling toys.
Okay.
And it did deter me from selling some of those types of items. However, I also some electronics I've noticed them on, and I've been able to obtain 5 units in order to get that unlocked. But if you can't obtain those 5 units, then it's really hard.
Right. Okay, cool. Going back to the forklift, Kevin brought up a good point. You mentioned that you didn't let your husband buy the forklift, but you have a forklift. So how did that happen?
So I am very
We're just
fortunate.
amazed by the forklift.
Oh yeah. So I'm very involved in my community. I'm a mom. We're really friendly with our neighbors, and our 2 of our neighbors work for forklift repair companies. So they always have equipment around and forklifts over there. So my husband will do some bartering with them, and he will do some work for them and then borrow their forklift.
Wow,
Nice.
sick.
Yeah.
That makes sense. All right, cool. Let's see here. I've got another question I always ask everybody. Maybe you know what I'm about to ask or not. Maybe. But what do you think? You're a year in. To give you perspective, Kevin's been reselling on eBay, Amazon for 3 or 4 years, right?
Yeah,
Kevin?
started in July 2020.
Okay, so yeah, 4 years, almost 4 years. I've been reselling since 21, but I think the question sort of doesn't have to necessarily be to reselling. I'm going to tie it to reselling, but really it's just like a business question. And the question is if you could give me 2 character traits of somebody who is successful on Amazon or any type of reselling business, that type of thing, what would they be? And when I say successful, I don't necessarily mean like the most sales. I don't necessarily mean all of the flashy stuff. I more so mean like somebody who has been doing it for a while, who didn't make a quick buck and then they're nowhere to be found. To me, that's not really success. You you did something for a month and then it went well. So what would those two be?
I would say determination and adaptability.
Okay. That's sort of the answers that we get. Being able to sort of adjust on the fly. Someone determination, I would say, is like sort of like consistency. Someone who's really determined is not going to give up. So those are two answers. It's what we get the most of, and Kevin and I both agree on those. It's not easy. The business is not easy. It's not for the faint of heart, but I would say it's worth it. So,
For sure.
let me ask you this: 2024. What does that look like? What are your top goals? What are you aiming to do?
I want to build better systems and processes for the new year. I noticed last year I kind of just
Mommy.
scrambled.
Mommy, it's time to eat.
Okay, I'll be right there, sweetie. So sorry about that.
No, you're good. You're good.
So
Get over here.
I want to have better practices set up now. So moving forward, I can have standard operating procedures, SOPs that I could share with the people who work on my team. I have 2 virtual assistants that help me, and I'd like to grow my team some more. But I noticed I really need to have those processes in place before I can do that.
Yeah. It's kind of funny you mentioned that because that's kind of my biggest struggle. I think it's obviously a common struggle, but like someone like me, it's really hard for me to sit down and actually go through a process with somebody, right? In my mind, I'm like, I could just do it myself and it's going to take me half the time, But yeah, there is a ton of value in setting those SOPs and setting those processes because it's time consuming at first, and then after it just kind of smooth sailing from there. Obviously, you've got to keep your eye on it, but yeah. Kevin, what you got for us?
What I learned, like given my VA's SOPs, it takes a lot of time up front, but like essentially you never have to do it again unless there's a significant change somewhere, and you can just keep rolling with that, and it takes a long time. I mean, for my VA personally, like teaching him everything like that, like sourcing, reading Keepa. It took like 2 months for him to like start providing valuable leads, and it's just based off of like my experience, right? And that's kind of the normal thing when you first bring on somebody. I didn't think it was because I was kind of mad. I'm like, yo, paying this VA this much to for him to just provide not good leads. But it's pretty much the normal thing I've heard from a lot of Amazon sellers when onboarding like someone who's completely new. So that's why I was like, okay, cool. I wasn't the only one with this issue because I was like, that's crazy. But yeah, SOPs are legit.
Absolutely.
All right. Are you going to AC this year?
Possibly. I'm a little uneasy to travel right now because I feel like we're on the brink of World War III.
World War III.
A
It's not like
little
you're
bit.
going
Makes me
to.
Can't you
nervous.
drive there? No, I'm just kidding.
I can, and I did drive
Oh,
last
what?
time, but I'll never do that again because I wasn't sure if I was going to purchase inventory from the show and need to bring it back with me. So I figured it would be better to have my car there, but never again. I'd rather just take a 1-hour flight than a 5-hour drive.
Nice.
Dang, so you were scared that World War III is about to happen.
A little bit.
I mean, if you were taking an international flight, okay.
Yeah, if you were going to like Iran, I'd be like, okay, cool. Like, I get it. Right down the road.
Like, hey, I guess the thing is, you never know, huh?
You never know. I saw some crazy stuff. They were doing emergency drills for like malls and places with massive amounts of people. And now I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to leave my house. That's why I love OA, because I don't even have to leave my house wholesale. Same thing.
Nice. So you mentioned you started with RA, right? What were some of the stores you used to hit up, and what kind of items would you buy? like your bread. Well, not your bread and butter, but like let's say for example me, like I love shoes, so I hit outlets and I buy only shoes for the most part.
It's so funny because there are a few good outlets near me, but I went to the outlets and it really wasn't my thing. I don't love to sell shoes and clothes. So I really liked selling toys from Walmart and Target. I did a lot of those and just some local regional stores that I noticed that I have near me that aren't available nationwide. Those are gold mines.
Mm. That makes a lot of sense. Do you do grocery?
I do. And I love grocery. The only tricky thing is I would say 90% of my business is FBA. So I have to be really careful with those expiration dates.
Yeah, I don't mess with grocery away like that because of that reason. Like I've tried it, and like most of the time the items expire like in 8 months. And I'm like, yo, it's gonna take forever to check in, this and that. Like even right now, like I got a product that expires in 2 months. I'm like, what the heck? No wonder this was so cheap. So
I
it's
think
kind of a gamble.
120. Yeah. And I think 120 days from today is May.
Mm.
Yeah. No.
So that seems like a long time, but that's not really a long time.
So I actually I had a coaching student who, this is like a horror story. It's so bad. And it's I would say that this is a reason why he's doing coaching, right? Sort of some of the tricks that I am trying to implement with him. But anyway, he bought a grocery item. It was a wholesale closeout deal. And he bought it, and they were all like expiring within the 6 months. We're talking $10,000. Okay. He gets it shipped to Amazon from the vendor. Okay. And when they get to Amazon, they tell him, we can't accept this because the expiration date is too soon. It's $10,000. He didn't know the expiration date. So, we were talking about that situation, and I was like, listen, I can't help you on the 10,000. You know,
Jesus.
I can only help you on moving forward. And there's grocery items that I buy wholesale that obviously I'm super careful about the expiration date. And not only that, but the vendor knows that I'm not sending it directly to myself. I might send it to a prep center, or it might go straight to Amazon, whatever the case may be. So if they're trying to be sneaky, and not tell me the correct expiration date, I always ask for them to send me pictures of the items so I can verify the expiration date. Most of this stuff is case packed, and most cases have an expiration date on the outside of them. But that's something to prevent. But yeah, I felt really bad for him. It was $10,000. He couldn't do anything with it.
That's
And
scary.
it was just like gone. Yeah, it was so bad.
That's terrible.
Yep. Well,
That's
nothing
why I
you
don't
can
do grocery. No, I'm just kidding. If it's anything, I just do supplements because supplements have a pretty long shelf life.
Yeah. Now, grocery is good if you can get the expiration date good, and there's no returns. That's amazing. So,
That is nice. The no returns part. That's awesome.
yeah.
Ooh.
All right, cool. So I got a few questions, not Amazon specific. I know that you sort of talk about credit, sort of talk about personal finance. What is your take, I guess, on personal finance when it comes to a self-employed person? And the reason why I ask is because there are a lot of people, for example, Kevin, he's a full-time reseller. And as we all know, Amazon is super cash flow sensitive. And I'm not even asking this specifically for Kevin. I'm just people who are going to watch. What advice or what kind of things would you say or suggest to somebody when they're dealing with a business that's super cash flow sensitive? The life cycle on cash in an Amazon business is anywhere from a month and a half to 2 months. Who obviously has to pay themselves a decent living and keep the lights on, I guess you could say. So, talk a little bit about that if you don't mind.
Absolutely. And that can be really tricky. So that's why it's important to keep those high margins and those high ROIs. And I know it can be really hard. Sometimes you want to take the low hanging fruit, but if you're having cash flow issues, you really need to focus on that so that you don't get strapped for cash. Another thing I see people doing is using their personal credit. I think that if you have the opportunity, you definitely need to leverage business credit and not necessarily credit cards, which I do think are a wonderful tool if used properly, but just business credit in general. This is a business, treated as such. You don't need to be using your personal credit for business expenses.
Sure, sure. What would your advice be to somebody who, for example, has to pay themselves, a salary out of the business, who's trying to grow? Obviously, focusing on higher ROI and higher margin, that's one thing. And sometimes those are things you cannot control, right? Like you can control, but everybody would love 40 to 50 to 60% ROI. And that sometimes is not realistic. So you have to invest money on these items who are not going to bring you as much return. So I guess on the other side, on things that are more controllable, for example, someone's budgeting style, someone's disbursement schedule to themselves, like how would you kind of handle that?
That's a great question. And it's really tricky because personal finance is personal. But I noticed that having a zero based budget really works. So if you're taking every dollar and allocating it somewhere, it doesn't matter what, even if it's $1 and you're going to reinvest that in your business, you're going to use that to pay yourself, make sure you know where every single dollar is going until you're at zero for your budget.
Yep. Yep. So me personally, I use zero based budget. Um, my wife hates it, um, but I love it.
Why?
She hates it because theoretically, on a zero based budget, if you do it right at the end of the month, you should have $0 in your checking account.
She's
And that's
scared of
more,
that
that's
zero.
a real psychological, a, a, you have to adapt your mind to that. But like, it's hard. And she's not like a financial person, she's a teacher, so that's sort of hard for her to understand. Before we got married, she had X amount, a couple $1,000s in her checking account, and it never went below that. Like, and that's just a psychological thing, right? As to where me, I know where my money was going, and at the end of every month, it was literally zero. Like I would time it so well to where like today it's zero, and tomorrow I'm getting money because I know I'm getting paid or whatever the case may be. So it is a psychological thing, for sure. But people can't get over that. Some people can't. So this is why I handle all the budgeting here.
Sheesh.
That's awesome. And that's really impressive because I sit here and say that, but honestly, it is easier said than done. So to see you execute that, that's impressive.
um, it's funny. We had my wife. She's into the finances and stuff like that, but not as much as I am. I'm like obsessed about it, and she saw that I had like transferred like a couple $1,000s to our IRAs for this month in this month, and she's like, "Oh, like why are we doing that?" And I was like, "Oh, like we had extra cash in the budget. Like I don't want that money just sitting in my bank account." She's like, "Oh, like we could have bought stuff or we could have done something." And I was like, "Yeah, but that's the thing. Like if I just get rid of that money and put it somewhere else, we're not going to spend that money on something else, and it's gone. This is zero based budget. That's the whole point of it." So
She wants to see it to spend, huh?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That
It's
is
all
so
right here.
smart. It is, it's psychological. And I love that, Danny, because if your money is not making you money, it's losing you money.
Right. The way that I tell her is that it's an equation, right? And I think about it like because I studied accounting, so I always think like assets equals liabilities and stockholders equity. That's kind of like where my brain goes, and I'm always like, I want to be on the right side of the equation, not on the other side. And so, yeah, that's kind of how my mind thinks. Sadiq says, I will always be cash poor, inventory rich.
You just like me for real.
Yeah, me too. Right now, I am for real. Seriously, that's a good problem to have, though.
Yes, and Sadiq doesn't have a lot of problems because he's extremely successful. So I want to know his best practices.
Yeah. Yes. Yo.
Is Sadiq one of the Chad scalers?
No,
Yeah.
not a Chad.
Oh, not a scalar, but not a Chad, maybe.
Exactly.
Okay.
I've seen him on.
I think I've seen his numbers
Miles'
like
stuff and stuff.
insane though. That's why I was like, Chad scaler.
Sadiq has the best Buy Box Bandits ever. The Buy Box Bandits episode, the best one I've ever watched, and I've watched a lot of them.
Really?
I gotta
The
check
best
it out.
one. Yeah, his story is
give us a
incredible.
sneak peek.
Oh
What
no,
stood out? What stood
You're
out?
gonna have to watch it.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie, I stopped watching Buy Box Bandits a long time ago.
I love hearing other people's stories.
Me too. But then I just got to a point where I just stopped. I stopped looking at everything Amazon content related. I don't know.
Why?
I
Why?
don't
'Cause
look at
then-
anything anymore either.
Why, Kevin?
I don't know. I guess I got tired of it. Like,
He hates
Okay.
Amazon.
yeah, I hate. And I'm just kidding. Honestly, I think I just got tired of it. I'm like, whatever.
No lie, me too though. I'm not gonna lie, me too. Kind of. It's
Like-
kind of the same.
This was probably like half of last year. But like, imagine listening to content every day or watching content every day for like 2 years. Same stuff. A lot of the stuff being repeated. The same stuff being repeated. And that was with most of the content I was watching. So I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna stop watching this content. Not that it's bad, but it's just me. Like, I don't want to hear this anymore. I already know. I already know what they're gonna say, kind of.
I will give you a pro tip for anyone who wants to learn at a rapid rate. You need an Amazon Premium account so you don't have to watch the ads, and then you watch everything on 2x speed.
You mean
That's
YouTube
Premium for that?
Yeah, YouTube Premium, and then watch everything on 2x speed. And I will be cleaning my house, doing dishes, and just listening and absorbing.
Yeah, I used to have that all the time, but it just switched. I think I just listen to like random stuff now. Honestly,
one of the goals and desires of Kevin and I when we first started to talk about this, and the reason why we named it Nightcap, number one, it happens at night. But when you think about Nightcap, it's like, ooh, like juicy, right? Like real deal type of stuff. And the problem, and I think this is maybe why one of the reasons why Kevin maybe doesn't really watch a ton of content anymore, is because it's sort of the same thing, right? Same repetitive stories again and again. And the content is not really challenging, right? For example, like, let's just hypothetically say, like, you say a statement about Amazon, like, oh, LTL is more expensive than SPD. Just an example, right? And me as a person, I know that's not true. And because we're content and I'm interviewing you, I just let you say that. And my audience hears that. And because I didn't say anything, they believe that. And so I think one of the reasons why is because we just hear the same stories over and over and over again. People who potentially don't have as much as experience and are just saying these sort of bogus things, and you're just like, okay, that's not true. I already know that. That definitely doesn't make sense. Like sort of these things, and then just kind of go, okay, like, yeah, I don't know where I was going, but you kind of get the point.
Yes, and you know what? When I think of Nightcap, I think of a drink. Does anybody else feel that way, or is it just me?
Yeah.
Where's the drinks?
I got a drink right here. What do you mean?
I've been sipping on water. I always sip on water. There ain't no drinks around here.
Okay.
I got none against it, but rather not.
I mean, I can't
Okay.
get drunk every Wednesday night.
I know, right?
Well, I saw another Amazon live stream they were doing. It was Amazon Happy Hour, but nobody
Oh,
nobody
cool.
had a drink,
Nobody was
and
drinking.
it wasn't happy.
Yeah.
Who's hosting it? Who hosts that? Is that a show?
No, it was just a one-time thing.
Were you in it?
No,
I
it
saw
would be
some-
happy if I was
Did
in
you
it.
post it? I think I've seen that before. I don't know. Huh.
All right, we got Misha Flips in the house. He says, "Hi guys, good to see you all. Melinda is the best." Who's Melinda? Melissa.
Oh
That's
yeah,
okay.
Danny. What I was gonna say was, about what you were talking about. A lot of the stories are very similar until there's like one that isn't. Like it's like something crazy, and I can't think of anybody right now. But there are some crazy stories out there that those are the ones that I want to listen to. But for the
Yeah,
most
but they
part,
post so much.
yeah. For the most part, it's the regular schmegular stories, which there's nothing wrong with them. But like once you, like, I'm tired of hearing them. Basically, once you hear them once, like once you hear them enough, like like, yeah, I already know. Like it's gonna be kind of the same.
Paulo brings up a good point, right? He's saying a lot of the content is usually done to bring some kind of funnel for another product. They're either selling something, a course, mentoring, stuff like that. And it is not for people like us who have some sort of experience. It's for somebody who is browsing on Google or YouTube. How do I make more money in 2024? And that video pops up, and the algorithm hits them with the video, and then they're hooked. That's really who it's for.
Shout out the OGs though, like Miles and Garrett. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure there's like other people before them who would do like Amazon content and live streams like that. Like I would give an example, like Reezy Resells, but not people who have stayed doing it like consistently as, for example, Miles. I'm not sure if Garrett's
is a
like
beast,
always in
yeah.
his lives as anymore, but 'cause like I said, I don't watch them. But like they've been super consistent.
Garrett's getting married, so the time is like.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of work involved with that.
That's how it is. Sadiq says, "What's up, Paulo?" Paulo says, "What's up?" Chilling with FBM orders over here.
FBM,
You
fun.
mess with FBM? Oh, you say you were 90% FBA, right?
Yeah, I do 10% FBM, and it's really funny because there's no right or wrong or bad or good. It's just how do you want to spend your time? And I don't want to spend my time fulfilling orders, but other people, they do. And they would rather do that over prepping for FBA.
Mm-hmm. So you
Misha
full
says,
time?
"My bad."
My bad, bro.
Thank you, Misha.
Ooh,
Yeah,
Melinda
it's
to
really,
Melissa.
yeah. Misha and I are from the same place, so we have a mutual understanding.
Really cool.
Yeah. We're both from New Jersey.
That's cool. Let's see. Okay, I think Kevin asked, full time, right? If you're full time.
Yes, I am. And something that I'm going to do more in the new year is sell on eBay and Mercari, which are not my favorite platforms, but I've actually been really liking Mercari lately. I had some inventory that I had to take down. I have to liquidate. And it's been really nice dealing with Mercari because their referral fee is only like 5%. It's not that 15% that Amazon or eBay takes.
Nice.
And I want to ask you: are you going to mainly use Mercari and eBay for like liquidating stuff and returns, or are you gonna like start buying stuff for eBay specifically or Mercari specifically? Because I have trouble doing that myself.
It's hard because the research tools aren't there, right? Like they are for Amazon. So it's really hard to figure out what's going to sell good over there. However, if I see a really good item for cheap, I'm going to pick it up. If it's a low buy cost, because I have seen some crazy profits. I've been seeing people turn $20 into $2,000 over there.
Wow.
Yeah. Those are like the super crazy one-offs.
But it happens, and
Yeah.
I would pass them up because in the past I'd been like, nope, just Amazon. I'm just going to focus on Amazon. And now, if that opportunity is placed in front of me, I'm definitely going to think more about it.
Yeah, I mean, for me specifically, like I know shoes, so like, for example, I only buy shoes for eBay. Sometimes clothing. I used to sell Mercari and Poshmark, but it grew too much of a hassle because like I would sell something on eBay and then have to unlist it on Mercari and Poshmark, and I sell something on Poshmark and have to unlist it in other platforms. So I stuck to eBay, and I mean, it's not. I mean, I've been doing it for a while, so like for me, it's pretty easy. But like, specifically finding inventory, like I have to go to the stores and do that because OA margins aren't there for eBay. At least with my experience and how I source. But yeah, I mean, it's a pretty nice little platforms to add. Oh yeah, and for the one-offs, crazy one-offs, for me, it's like you have to learn to find those items. I'm never gonna learn to find a $2,000 item, like, and that's just me because I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna stick with shoes.
So here's an example, and I learned this from either TikTok or Instagram Reels. This lady was at a secondhand store, and she was showing you how to spot the difference between Waterford crystal or just regular glass. And
I
it
think I
is
saw
by
that
the way
video.
the glass. Did you see that?
Yeah, it
It's
made
by
like
the
a
way it
specific noise.
sounds.
Yeah.
And so she just walks up to the shelf and she picks out like a $200 glass, and it's like 50 cents because it's
Oh yeah,
Waterford crystal.
yeah. Another reason why I'm like I'm not gonna get into that. I'm not even at like thrifts and stuff. So like, that's another thing. Like, but it's crazy like these flips that you can just see are just out there.
Yeah.
All right, we got some comments. People are going back and forth. NG
Oh
is right next to
man,
the best state in the U.S.
Yay.
PA. I think
It's
you got a little confused. PA is right next to the best state in the U.S. New Jersey. These guys have obviously never traveled before. PA is
jeez.
these guys are. Yeah, depends on what you say. The best. Me personally, I think the best states. I think about like weather and like scenery. To me, is Florida, California, and yeah, somewhere out west.
California, excuse me.
What do you mean?
No, take that back right now, please.
Why? Why?
With
Why?
the high
Why?
taxes, those people are getting
No,
robbed.
no. I'm thinking.
We're just talking about
scenery. I'm thinking about the
Okay.
scenery.
weather and stuff.
Scenery, weather.
Everything out of
Hell no. Taxes. I will never go to live in New Jersey. I will never live in California. Never live in New York. Never live in Massachusetts. No. I'm good on that.
No, I feel bad because I was chatting with another seller who lives in California, and to have your LLC there, you have to
$800.
Yep, every year just to have an LLC
800?
there.
Yeah, every year.
Holy.
I don't feel bad.
Well, if they chose to live there, then yeah, but
I mean,
Oh,
if
they're
you grew
choosing to
up
live there every day.
If you grew up there and all that, like if you're 18 and you're just an Amazon seller, like come on, you don't have too much of a choice. You can move out soon, but you're kind of stuck there. That's
If
just
you're
like
a successful Amazon seller and you live in California, number one, you're probably so successful you don't care.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Could be.
option number one. Or two, you're so successful you should move to a state where it literally washes out between the taxes. You're pretty much going to live for free wherever you move to, i.e., like Florida or Texas or something like that. I know a bunch of guys who I know a guy that lived in Michigan. He made millions of dollars every year, paying crazy taxes, and he moved to Florida, and now his living expenses covers the difference in the taxes that he's paying.
And he's living better.
Yes. Oh yeah. Better weather, better place, better. I don't want to jump into the politics, right? But that's a reason why people move and that type of stuff. So
I'm gonna move next to
Absolutely.
Miles in Miami.
Florida is the best. See, now you're getting some sense in you. 800 is crazy. Yep.
Yeah, and
Taxes,
they have to pay that
Texas
on.
juice.
taxes, chooses. Business exercise. Wait, what do you mean? Exercise? Maybe.
600 a year.
See, that's insane. That is absolutely insane. In some states, it's free to file an LLC. You can have as many LLCs as you want.
That's wild. Texas, chooses. That's so funny. Oh, yeah. Florida does not tax Social Security, which is another benefit. Yeah, there's no state income tax there either. Paulo, I have to jump on a call with you. I need help with Walmart. I'm assuming I only do FBM.
Misha said he's a 4-figure Walmart seller, huh?
Yeah,
Ooh.
that's nice.
Are you gonna
And
get it?
he's a
Have you ever thought about getting into Walmart, Melissa?
They denied my application. I have to reapply.
Did they tell you why they denied? They just denied.
Probably because I rushed through it because I was like, just fill this out quickly. And then I was shocked. I didn't think that was going to happen. So I need to reapply.
What's the approval process like? How long did it take for them to get back to you?
It was like immediate.
Oh,
Yeah, they were like, nope, we don't want you.
No, that's so funny. Not even like a let's review.
Yeah, so I have to now do that. And it's really funny because it's like there's so many opportunities for making money online and making money being a seller on all these different platforms. It's just like, where am I going to dedicate my time and my resources to?
Right. Paulo says we can, Misha. First one is tough. I'm assuming they can jump on a call. Yeah, Misha, for Paulo has consulting now, so make sure to sign up.
he has a name for it. What's the name? I forgot.
I don't know. Paulo says Walmart denied me too. A bot denied me. I called him and approved in 2 minutes. That makes sense.
Oh, okay. So I got to pick up the phone. Okay.
Yeah.
Make
makes
that
sense.
call.
They just want to make sure you're somebody.
360
consultation. There it is.
What's your name, Danny? You ain't even got a name for yours. Come on, man.
No.
You gotta get with Paolo, bro. He got that name.
If I come up with a name, it'll probably be like bitching you out for an hour. 101.
Yeah, I have people in my Discord who want to work with you, Danny.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I have someone in my Discord. This is a first for me. They are overseas and they have an LLC here and they do all OA and wholesale to Prep Center.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and they're in Pakistan.
Whoa.
Really?
Yeah.
That's insane.
You know, oh man, this is so fun. I don't know if it's a thing or not, but my VA, he's in Pakistan, and this week, I was at the gym and he texted me. He's like, "Hey, what all do I need to sell on Amazon?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" And I was like, he's like, "Oh, I want to sell on Amazon," and I was like, "Oh, like, do you have money to go, like, ready to go?" So anyway, I tried to talk him out of selling on Amazon, and I was like, "No, I took because one of the things that Iman, if you're listening to this is not any news to you. I've told you this many times. I wanted more urgency from him, right? I want to pay him more. The more that I pay him, the more he's doing for me, and the more money I'm making, right? And the money that I want to pay him is unlimited. That's kind of how I think about it. And so I've always talked to him about, hey, like, help me find products, help me find distributors, help me find, if he can handle the process from A to Z, buying inventory, sourcing, stuff like that. I can handle the logistics here in the States. That's not a problem. But just him being on the computer, and I will profit share with him. So anyway, we were talking about that, and that now that you bring this up, I'm like, okay, obviously someone does it.
So you got him hyped or what? Or you still like?
Yeah, I'm not opposed to him doing it, but I mean,
Well,
it's his life, right?
so I actually think that in certain countries you cannot have an Amazon seller account unless you have like an LLC set up in a different country. And Pakistan is one of those states that doesn't allow Amazon sellers over there.
What?
Yeah, because
So
I
they're
have
kind
a
of,
VA who's over there as well.
so they're kind of like sneaking it, I guess you can say.
Just a workaround. Maybe they have family here and they have their business
Oh, that's
set
cool.
up here. So it just depends on the situation. I'm curious to know though what kind of tasks you have your VA work on.
Me?
Yes.
All right. So he, it's so funny. I joke with him all the time. I always say that if you really want to like hype yourself up, ask your VA like how they like working for you, because they're gonna like, oh, like you're the best, like you're the best person ever, you know, like oh, they're just gonna hype you up. And to be honest with you, I have been a really bad manager of him, just because I'm so tied up in other stuff. It has worked to his benefit, and he knows that. We've had that discussion. Um, like we have talked about him getting more money as far as like per hour that I pay him, and I have responded to him saying, okay, like, well, I pay you for 8 hours a day, but you work for 2, so I can pay you more, but I'm going to pay you on a per hour basis of the hours that you work. So I can come a little bit more strict. It's not going to work out for him in that sense, right? So he's agreed to what we've been doing. But I say I've been super bad with him as far as managing him, because literally I have him do really whatever I need him to do. For example, the thumbnail that we created for tonight's thing. Like I sent him the picture that you sent me. I sent it to him in half hour. He had it ready. We are having another guest next week, and we went ahead and did that one already. So he's done that. The Amazon nightcap overlays that you see, he's done that. At any given time, if I get a catalog from a wholesale distributor, I can literally send it over to him, and he knows exactly how to source the whole catalog on Amazon. He has access to all my Keepa, all my Telegram stuff, and we sort of have a template of, hey, this is the information that I want out of you looking these up one by one. So he's done that. He's edited my videos, just all this crazy stuff.
Man, what you call it?
All in
Man
one.
does it all.
360. 360.
360
A 360
VA.
VA.
Yeah. So that's really cool, because like at any given time, like there's been times where like I'm out with my family doing something, and I'm like, hey, can you log in and do this and send me this data points, and I don't have access to that, and he'll do it right away. He works during my time. Like what I mean by that is like he adjusts his schedule to EST, which is really convenient for him because he's in college. So like nighttime for me is daylight for them, right? There's a blend of time. So it just kind of works out. Yeah.
And how long has he been working for you?
So he's been working with me since 2022.
Wow.
Yeah. We got this. He calls me bro and stuff like that. Like we're super chill, like that. It's not. Is I don't treat him like an employee. I treat him like a friend that I'm.
He doesn't call you sir.
He does not call me sir. I don't want that. And then it's actually really cool, because like I hate paying people every week. Like to me that's annoying, like so literally like I pay him when he asks me to get paid. And it's kind of interesting, right? But like last at Christmas time, I hadn't paid him since October. And
like, where's my money at?
No. Like he's super chill. Like he loves that, because he's like, all of a sudden I get this big influx of cash, and he's like, that kind of makes me like save and budget better for myself.
Oh,
rather than
okay.
a paycheck every week. Yeah, and he knows I'm gonna pay him. Like there's no doubt about it. We got a running tally of the weeks that I paid him and stuff like that. But yeah, he's really good. You know, he he's Muslim. He's from Pakistan, right? And he was like texting me Merry Christmas and all this stuff. And I was like joking around with him. I was like, I'm not gonna say Merry Christmas to you because you don't celebrate it.
Yeah.
So it's so funny because like we're just chill like that, you know. Like I don't want to treat him like an employee. I want to treat someone like, you know, who's doing work for me, and I so happen to pay him, you know. So and he's really
Yeah.
cheap. I mean, compared to some other VAs that are out there, he's pretty cheap.
Bro, I've tried to be chill with my VAs. They keep it so professional. They're like,
Yeah,
sir, yes, sir. I'm like, bro, I'm like, you're just sourcing products online. But hey, I mean, I'm not complaining, but you know,
I
it's
like
cool.
that level of professionalism. I actually
Yeah.
appreciate it. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's really funny. I could tell that Danny has, he's a professional and he's worked in corporate America by the way that you speak on this podcast, certain things that you say, certain terms. It was funny. I recognized them from my time in corporate America.
yeah. Corporate America will have you talking a different way, right? A lot of politics. I always tell Kevin. Kevin doesn't understand this. That Kevin has never worked in like a corporate environment, but we discussed this at the gym, and I'm like, and he asked me about my job and stuff that I do, and I'm like, it's not as yes. Someone just said "Sir Danny, sir" in the chat. But you know, it will have you talk in a different way. You sort of have to learn how to maneuver yourself, protect yourself, those type of things. So I don't know if that's good or bad. I don't know.
Sheesh.
Shout out to the VA. That's so funny. After the podcast today, we'll call you Danny Sir only.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, FBA Gabe said Mary Chrysler.
Oh, I love that.
No one likes to be paid every couple months. I actually wouldn't mind that. To be honest
Holy
with you.
shit.
What's up, guys?
That's like giving the government an interest-free loan, right? Like a lot of people, when they do their taxes, they're so excited to get a big refund. And I think, what is wrong with these people? They just like
Yeah.
let the government hold their money and gave them an interest-free loan. No, I would rather have that money faster.
That's right.
For sure.
That's a good point, and I think a lot of people overlook that. And I would maybe I'm out of line by saying this, but if you are happy that you're getting a return, you need some development in personal finance
I
because
agree.
it is exactly what she just said. You are literally giving the government a free loan. And a lot of people say, well, you know, I would just spend that money if I had it myself. And that may be true, but that also highlights another problem that you have, and that is like you have money and you need to spend it. So, this month, going back to the personal finance stuff, this week we sat down and literally planned the rest of the year as far as like financial. I know where every dollar is coming from. I know where every dollar is going. And now it's just about executing it, right? So my advice to anybody that's out there listening is, I think also another thing, going back to the point of like how to maneuver and cash flow and stuff like that, when you're a sole, employee and this is your main source of income, I think having a really, really lean budget personally is probably the best. And paying yourself that lean budget, sort of staying on track with that. That doesn't mean that when cash flow is right, you can't, take a distribution to yourself, to take care of some of big items that you have to take care of in your personal life. But having that lean budget will sort of help you kind of, level out all of those like crazy times. So
Heck yeah.
Well, listen, we appreciate you hopping on. This has been episode 11. Guys, follow her on IG. I know you have a YouTube as well, Millennial Money Mom at IG. You also have a Discord, which I've been in there. I've seen people post. So appreciate you coming on. You guys, reach out to her if you have any questions.
Yo, all
Thank you
right.
so much.
Look, one more question. All right.
Oh my God. This guy.
Chill. All
He's
right.
been holding on to this one, I think.
Nah. I forgot to ask the last guest this question, so I gotta get this one now, right? So, what does the future look like for Millennial Money Mom?
The future, it's really hard to say because everything's changing so rapidly. I do want to add some more platforms to my repertoire. So hopefully I'll do Walmart this year.
Cool.
Walmart. Okay. Well, you can do it tonight. Look, just get on the phone with them and talk to them. It's still early for you. You're on PST.
Oh,
You good?
Yeah. No, I'm on Mountain Time actually.
Okay. Mountain time. Okay. Got it. All right. Cool. Well, it was good to have you on. I'm sure we will see you in the future in the chat and probably a guest again. So thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me, gentlemen. I really appreciate you. And I always love to hear your point of view. And I will be back as a viewer next week.
Sounds good.
Let's go.
All righty. See you guys.
See you.